Hello, I shoot a Canik TP9 Elite Subcompact. I really enjoy it. I use it in IDPA competition predominantly and also for carry upon occasion. But I did run into a problem with it after about 1,000 rounds of usage. What was happening was the slide lock lever was bouncing up and actually catching in the slide and locking it back at the most inopportune times. Finally figured out what was going on. I want to share it with you in case anybody else runs into a similar problem. Okay, first of all, no magazine. No round inserted in the chamber. Point the gun in a safe direction. Pull the trigger, squeeze the trigger. Pull the tabs down to release the slide. Push it forward slightly. Lift it up and off and out of the way. Here's the problem. This is the slide lock lever spring. Notice how it is curved downward. Curves downward and then it goes up and it sits on top of this lug. This lug, when a magazine is empty, is pushed up by the follower, allowing this tab to catch in the slide as it cycles to lock it back. When there's a round in the magazine, then the follower does not make contact with the lug. It does not push it up, and the spring, under tension, holds it down. What happened in my case is the spring had lost its tension, allowing the slide lock lever to just float up and down at any time, and then when the slide came back as it cycled, it would get caught on there and lock, usually right in the middle of a stage. Took me a while to figure it out, but the problem was the slide had lost tension and was no longer depressing that lug down. I think I caused the problem. You will sometimes get soot build up in this area here, and in an attempt to keep things clean, probably cleaner than it needed to be, I would normally take and run a rag up through this from the magazine up out the top of the gun, out top of the frame, and pulling it vigorously back and forth. I suspect that I caught that spring and bent it up. And the reason I say that is that when I look at the new spring that I received from Canik versus the old spring, the new spring comes out and then sharply down and continues down and stays pointing down. The original spring, the one that wasn't working, is a slight downward tilt, and then it levels out and actually starts to come back up. And I think I caught that and bent it up the wrong way. I think that was the problem. Notice the little tip here. There's a tip on the end of the spring. The tip on the end of the spring, goes into this spot right here on the frame so that you will position the spring correctly when you replace it if you need to. There is no channel per se that is cut in the frame here, but the spring just fits between the frame and the locking block, goes on a downward angle, then you lift it up and sit it on top of that lug, and there's a notch cut in that lug for the spring to ride. It's a relatively simple one to replace if you know how to remove the lug, the roll pin here and here. And for that, please see my other video. Good luck and safe shooting.